out everything you know about charisma. Let's learn charisma together. I wanted to start my intro like this, but I didn't want to put more credit to the cliche. Anyway, hi, my name is Nazanin and welcome to my channel. I read books for more than 15 years and I'm a legal specialist. So I always read these books and stories about charismatic people. They aren't essentially the most good looking and gorgeous people, yet somehow they are the ones you can. Also, they always stay miraculously mysterious. So I've got on a mission to find out what do they have in common. After digging so many books and so many sources of information, I guess I could finally say I found the secret. We already know asking about how they live, how they work, and how they think about future is a really important step in listening to others. But what else can help us? The questions that you ask. Actually, in the question that you ask, if you are not I centric or if you don't want to talk about your experience and instead focus on their experience and how they want to answer or continue the conversation, so many things unravel right there and you can gain their trust and be charismatic in their eyes because whenever people feel hurt, they get like drawn to. Note that if you are in reading slump, this book may not help you very well, but I have a list of books in another video that I've made and you can go and check them after watching this video, and please let me know in the comments which one did you choose. It's a book selected by my job's growth plan and I've got to admit it was very hard at first to get into. First, because it was nonfiction, and second, it was written by a journalist. Despite having very high hopes for this book, and I forced myself to read that book. Or, now that I think about, maybe I was in a reading slump, but who knows. I was reading this book about charismatic people. Actually, it's not about charismatic people, it's about listening. But it's a book called You're Not Listening, What You Are Missing and Why It's Important. Honestly, I'm not sure if this book was selected because of how effective and fast and instantly can help you with your charisma level, but let me tell you something, it actually works, tested and true. There is no exception. Everyone wants to feel heard. And it's like loneliness. Loneliness doesn't discriminate. And it's actually true. When you get older or when you advance in your career, talking about struggles feel really unreal. You just have to listen to them. As easy as that. And with some really few techniques that are discussed in this book, you can ace that listening. Let's get to know the writer. Told you the writer is a journalist and interviewed many people during her career, especially famous. She always believed that the best stories comes from the most ordinary people. You just have to listen to them. So we know by now that you wouldn't get any prize for listening, but you would be get praised for being charismatic. You may ask, but Nazanin, I wanna talk. I just don't wanna listen. I know, dear. I know, darling. And as much as it feels painful and I wish I could hug you, we live in an age of social media and you can create a YouTube and talk. Talk as much as you want. But if you ask me, that's not the actual problem. The problem is you want to feel heard. And you understand the difference, right? But for being a good listener, you need some equipment. If ears was all you need, that author didn't dedicate her book to whom didn't understand others or were misunderstood themselves. So, what do good listeners have in common? What type of skill sets or equipment? We don't glorify good listeners. However, we glorify the people on TED Talk speaking or people who graduate. Don't get me wrong, They are indeed something to glorify. But what I mean by that is listening is worth glorifying as much as those others do. So I guess we can say listening is some sort of silent and lost art. One thing you should do is be curious about others. Don't be nosy, be curious. Ask about their day and let them talk and let them speak about themselves as much as they want to. You just need to listen to that. And so much value and so much information lies there. Trust. There was a quote in this book that felt like a personal attack. Let me read it for you. In the culture filled with existential angst and aggressive personal marketing, being silent means falling behind. So, how are we supposed to be charismatic while staying silent? That's a good question. And I've already told you, being silent is all you need for advancing in your career. I'm gonna give you some quick tips. And lastly, the thing that will help you a lot is not being in rush when you're talking to people or when you're listening to them. Let them talk. You may think that will let them talk too much or my time is valuable, but actually, if you listen to them, you get to the solution much easier and much faster. So that's why listening is effective in so many ways: time management, going up the career ladders, and everything that you want in your life. Do you agree with me? I'm really curious to know what you think about this book. Have you read it? Have you read something similar? Or will you be reading it in future? So if you are interested in the context of this book or any similar books, just subscribe and tell me if you want part 2 or you want me to talk about the other book we read about empathy and how it helps you with being charismatic. Also share some of your charisma tips down in the comments. I may need or someone else may need it someday. So that's it for today. Bye for now. So, can we have a moment of appreciation for this bracelet right here?